In the heart of the misty Appalachian Mountains, nestled among towering pines and ancient oaks, lies a forgotten town called Whispering Pines. Once a bustling logging community, it now stands abandoned, its empty streets echoing with the whispers of the past. Legend has it that the town is haunted by the spirits of those who once called it home. Tales of ghostly apparitions wandering the moonlit streets have been passed down through generations, chilling the blood of even the bravest souls. One fateful night, a group of friends decided to venture into Whispering Pines, drawn by the promise of adventure and the thrill of the unknown. They parked their car at the edge of town, their headlights piercing the darkness like beacons in the night. As they stepped out onto the cracked pavement, a cold wind whispered through the trees, sending shivers down their spines. Ignoring the chill in the air, they pressed on, their footsteps echoing against the abandoned buildings that loomed ominously in the darkness. Their first stop was the old logging mill, its rusted machinery standing silent and still. As they explored its decaying halls, they couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, as if the very walls themselves were alive with unseen eyes. But it was when they reached the town square that things took a sinister turn. In the center of the square stood an old fountain, its waters long since dried up. As they approached, they noticed strange symbols carved into its stone basin, symbols that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Suddenly, a chill swept through the air, and the friends found themselves surrounded by a thick fog that seemed to materialize out of nowhere. Panic set in as they struggled to find their way through the dense mist, their senses overwhelmed by the oppressive darkness. In the distance, they heard the faint sound of laughter, echoing through the fog like the wails of the damned. With hearts pounding in their chests, they followed the sound, their footsteps quickening with each passing moment. But as they rounded a corner, they were met with a sight that froze them in their tracks. Standing before them were the ghostly figures of the town's long-dead residents, their spectral forms shimmering in the moonlight. The air grew thick with fear as the ghosts closed in, their hollow eyes staring into the souls of the living. With nowhere left to run, the friends braced themselves for whatever fate awaited them in the haunted town of Whispering Pines. As the ghostly figures drew closer, the friends felt an icy grip tighten around their hearts. They could see the pain and anguish etched into the faces of the apparitions, as if they were reliving some long-forgotten tragedy. Desperate for escape, the friends searched for any means of reprieve. In their frantic efforts, they stumbled upon a narrow alley, barely visible through the thick mist. Without hesitation, they darted down the alley, their breaths coming in ragged gasps. But the spirits were relentless, their ethereal forms gliding effortlessly through the darkness. With each passing moment, the friends could feel their presence growing stronger, as if the very air itself was suffused with the weight of the past. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, they stumbled upon an old church, its crumbling spire reaching up towards the heavens like a beacon of salvation. With no other options left, they flung open the heavy wooden doors and stumbled inside, their hearts pounding with fear. Inside the church, they found themselves surrounded by an eerie stillness, broken only by the faint sound of their own breathing. As they caught their breath, they glanced around the dimly lit interior, their eyes falling upon a lone figure kneeling at the altar. It was an old man, his face weathered by time and sorrow. He looked up at them with eyes that seemed to pierce straight through to their souls, his expression one of both sadness and resignation. Without a word, the old man beckoned them closer, his voice barely more than a whisper. As they approached, he spoke of a dark secret that lay buried beneath the town of Whispering Pines, a secret that had long been forgotten by all but the restless spirits that haunted its streets. He spoke of a pact made with dark forces centuries ago, a pact that had cursed the town and condemned its inhabitants to an eternity of torment. And he spoke of a way to break the curse, a way to free the trapped souls and bring peace to the restless dead. But as he revealed the details of the ritual, a sense of dread washed over the friends. For they knew that in order to break the curse, they would have to confront the very source of the town's suffering, a darkness that lurked deep beneath the earth, waiting to be unleashed. With the old man's words weighing heavily on their minds, the friends knew that their journey was far from over. For the true horror of Whispering Pines lay not in its ghostly inhabitants, but in the darkness that lurked beneath its surface, waiting to be awakened. With the weight of the old man's revelations pressing down upon them, the friends knew they had to make a choice. They could turn back, flee from the cursed town of Whispering Pines, and try to forget the horrors they had witnessed, or they could confront the darkness head-on, risking everything to break the ancient curse and free the trapped souls. As they huddled together in the dimly lit church, their minds raced with uncertainty. They knew the dangers that lay ahead, the horrors that awaited them in the depths below. But they also knew that they couldn't turn their backs on the suffering of the town's restless spirits, condemned to wander for all eternity. In the end, it was their sense of duty and determination that won out. With grim determination, they set out into the night once more, their footsteps echoing through the empty streets as they made their way towards the heart of the town. Their journey led them to an old cemetery nestled on the outskirts of Whispering Pines, its weathered headstones standing as silent sentinels over the graves of the long dead. But as they searched among the crumbling tombs, they stumbled upon a hidden entrance concealed beneath a tangle of ivy and moss. With trepidation, they descended into the darkness below, the air growing colder with each step they took. As they delved deeper into the earth, they could feel the weight of centuries pressing down upon them, as if the very ground itself held the memories of all that had come before. Finally, they reached the chamber at the heart of the catacombs, a vast cavern bathed in an otherworldly glow. In the center of the chamber stood a towering monolith, its surface etched with strange symbols and runes. With trembling hands, they began to perform the ritual, chanting the ancient incantations passed down through generations. As they spoke the words, the air around them seemed to crackle with energy, and the ground beneath their feet trembled with the force of unseen power. But just as they neared the culmination of the ritual, a darkness stirred in the depths below. With a deafening roar, the ground split open, revealing a yawning chasm that seemed to stretch down into the very bowels of the earth. And from the depths emerged a creature of pure shadow and malice, its eyes glowing with an unholy light. With a blood-curdling scream, it lunged towards the friends, its claws slashing through the air with deadly precision. In the chaos that followed, the friends fought with all their strength, their minds consumed with fear and desperation. But as the creature closed in for the kill, a blinding light erupted from the monolith, bathing the chamber in its brilliant glow. And in that moment of blinding brilliance, the friends glimpsed a fleeting vision of hope, a chance to banish the darkness once and for all. But whether they would seize that chance or be consumed by the shadows that lurked within Whispering Pines remained to be seen. As the blinding light enveloped the chamber, the friends found themselves locked in a desperate struggle against the creature of shadow and malice. With every ounce of strength they possessed, they fought against the relentless onslaught, their minds consumed with fear and determination. But as the battle raged on, they began to feel the overwhelming weight of the darkness pressing down upon them, threatening to snuff out the last flicker of hope that remained. With each passing moment, their resolve wavered, and it seemed as though all would be lost. Just when it seemed that they could fight no longer, a voice echoed through the chamber, cutting through the chaos like a beacon in the night. It was the voice of the old man from the church, his words ringing with a clarity that banished the shadows that clouded their minds. With renewed determination, the friends rallied together, channeling the last of their strength into one final, desperate assault. As they unleashed their combined power against the creature, the chamber shook with the force of their combined efforts, threatening to collapse in on itself. But just as victory seemed within their grasp, the creature let out a deafening roar, its form twisting and contorting in the blinding light. And then, with a final, desperate lunge, it vanished into the darkness, leaving behind only echoes of its malevolent presence. As the chamber fell silent once more, the friends collapsed to the ground, their bodies battered and bruised from the ordeal. But despite their exhaustion, they knew that their journey was far from over. For though they had succeeded in banishing the creature from the depths below, they knew that the curse that plagued Whispering Pines still lingered, waiting to be unleashed once more. And as they emerged from the catacombs into the cold light of dawn, they knew that they would have to face whatever horrors lay ahead if they were to ever truly free the town from its haunted past. As the friends emerged from the depths of the catacombs, they found themselves greeted by the eerie silence of Whispering Pines. The morning sun struggled to penetrate the thick mist that clung to the deserted streets, casting long shadows that seemed to dance with unseen spirits. With heavy hearts and weary bodies, they made their way back to the church where they had sought refuge the night before. There, they found the old man waiting for them, his eyes filled with a mix of sadness and resignation. He spoke of the darkness that had long plagued the town, of the curse that had bound its residents to an eternity of suffering, and he spoke of the sacrifices that would be required to break the curse once and for all. But as he revealed the details of the ancient ritual, a sense of unease settled over the friends. They knew that the path ahead would be fraught with danger, that the forces they would be facing were beyond anything they had ever encountered before. Yet despite their doubts and fears, they knew that they could not turn away from the challenge that lay before them, for they had seen firsthand the suffering that the curse had wrought upon Whispering Pines, and they could not in good conscience abandon the town to its fate. With grim determination, they set out once more into the heart of the town, their minds filled with thoughts of the trials that awaited them. They knew that the road ahead would be long and arduous, but they also knew that they could not falter if they were to ever rid Whispering Pines of its haunted past. As they journeyed deeper into the heart of the town, they could feel the weight of the curse pressing down upon them, as if the very air itself was alive with malevolent energy. But they pressed on, their resolve unshaken by the horrors that lurked in the shadows, and as they reached the site of the ancient ritual, they prepared themselves for the battle that lay ahead, for they knew that only by confronting the darkness head-on could they hope to break the curse and bring peace to the restless souls that haunted Whispering Pines. With their hearts heavy but their spirits resolute, the friends stood before the ancient ritual site, ready to face whatever trials lay ahead. They knew that the darkness that had plagued Whispering Pines for so long would not give up without a fight, but they were determined to see their mission through to the end. As they began to perform the ancient ritual, their voices rising in unison, a sense of power surged through them, filling them with a strength they had never known before. With each word spoken, the air around them crackled with energy, and the ground beneath their feet trembled with the force of their combined will. And then, in a blinding flash of light, the darkness that had long enveloped Whispering Pines began to recede, banished by the power of their determination and courage. The air cleared, the mist dissipating into the morning sky, and for the first time in centuries, the sun shone down upon the town, casting its golden light upon the once desolate streets. As the last echoes of the ritual faded into the air, the friends felt a sense of peace wash over them, knowing that they had succeeded in their quest to break the curse that had plagued Whispering Pines for so long. The town was free at last, its residents finally able to rest in peace. And as they stood together, bathed in the warm glow of the morning sun, they knew that they had forged a bond that would never be broken, for they had faced the darkness together and emerged victorious, their friendship stronger than ever before. With smiles on their faces and hope in their hearts, they turned and began to make their way out of Whispering Pines, knowing that they had left a legacy of courage and bravery that would be remembered for generations to come. And though the town would forever bear the scars of its haunted past, it would also serve as a reminder of the power of friendship, love, and the indomitable human spirit to overcome even the greatest of challenges.